What if what you're seeing is not really real? Now, I don't mean that it doesn't exist. I simply mean that as humans, we don't only see what's before us. Here's why. The part of our brain that interprets our situation connects with the part of our brain that remembers our past. And what we get as reality is a really interesting mix of the present and the past coming together. Now, it's a little bit disconcerting maybe that we might not be seeing reality as it really is all the time. Now, here's an example of proof. Have you ever had a disagreement with someone and you're trying to resolve the disagreement? And you say to the person, "No, I remember you said blah, blah, blah." And the person says, "No, I never said that. I said this." Or you say something like, "I remember when this happened." And the person has no recollection at all. It's such a weird experience because, you know what happened. Why is that other person so off his or her rocker and has no idea what happened according to your view? Well, because it's a weird thing that our brains take the present and the past and mix it up and create our current interpretation of reality. Now, that can be a little bit of a challenge in our lives. I'll share a little bit of my story, and if you followed me, you've heard this before, that 2 months after my mom passed away, I was written out of the family will by my father. Now, that's a pretty harsh memory, not just of losing out of the inheritance my mom wanted me to have, but that the man who was supposed to love me more than any other man in the world was hateful and mean and cut me off. Now, there's all kinds of ways where my brain can go back and capture that memory and mix it up with reality. Situations like I meet men his age, or I'm considering dating someone, or I'm thinking about my finances, or thinking about what it means to have and be family. See, all of those different situations and many more, I'm sure, my brain will take the current reality and grab a memory, like the memory of me sitting on my back porch reading the will where I had been explicitly excluded from my inheritance. Now, I could allow that memory to stay as is, as a hurtful, painful place, and I could allow that memory to inform all of my present circumstances. But the great news is that we don't have to let that happen. There are ways in which we can reinterpret the past situation so that it no longer has control over the future in the same negative way. And there are ways in which we can rewire that memory so that it becomes a powerful one. Now, here's how I do it. When I go back to that memory of sitting on that back porch, I no longer think of myself as someone who's been written out of the family will. I think of myself as someone who has been challenged to rise up and become more than I could ever have been. You see, when my legacy is created, it won't be created from the cycles of abuse that permeated my family's history. My legacy will be a brand new start. You see, I'm not the victim who was written out of the will. I'm the powerful woman who's creating a new, powerful legacy to help people all around the world. You see, now when I think of that situation in those new terms, I no longer feel victimized by it. I no longer feel sad. I no longer feel the weight of the lack of love. I feel powerful. I feel ready to take on the world. I feel excited because I can create something brand new. And when I think about that situation with those feelings, then when I meet a man my father's age, I see him in a whole different light. Or when I think about my finances, even when things get tough, I see them with power and that I can find solutions, not problems from the past. Now, another thing you can do, that's first of all, you reinterpret how you saw your past memory. Second, this is our last tip for today. Second, there's something wonderful about triggering the pleasure centers of our brain. Now, without weirding you out, we can give ourselves a simple touch. Something like this. Just do this right now for a second. Doesn't that feel nice? Now, there's nothing weird about this. You're simply touching your arm. But the pleasure centers of your brain are firing. Now, while you are feeling, you can even give yourself a massage. Have you ever given yourself a wrist massage? Or maybe an arm or leg massage? While you're doing that and triggering pleasure centers of your brain, think about that painful past experience. But think about it and feel the pleasure and allow feelings of happiness to dwell up within you. See, when you do this enough times, your brain rewires the memory and makes it a happy place. And when you do that, it completely changes how that memory influences what you see in the present. I mean, you've all heard the stories of the young girl who had an abusive father who married a man just like her father, even though she never said she would. Well, she hadn't learned to rewire those memories and reinterpret them so that she could write a new chapter. But see, you can write a new chapter. You can change the influence of the past and how it affects your present and your future. And when you do that, you create a whole new life. See, you can create your life. You can create your life. You can, if you want.